It's a warm welcome to Buffalo City, a place where adventure meets the ocean and where every season is the perfect time to explore. A city that allows you to ride the legendary waves at Nahoon Reef or explore hidden hiking trails with breathtaking coastal views. This is your adventure playground. Or you can immerse yourself in some vibrant Xhosa culture, traditions, music, and of course, cuisine. From the golden beaches to cultural gems, Buffalo City is a year-round destination waiting for you. It is also home to South Africa's longest-running and oldest sporting event, the Buffalo Regatta, which started way back in 1879. Normally, East London offers the most pristine weather all year round, but this time round, the weather gods weren't having any, and rain was predicted for the opening day of the Buffalo Regatta.
It's a bit upsetting that it's so wet, but it's very exciting to come down and get the chance to race against schools we don't usually race against. Yeah, I love this regatta so much. The prep's been awesome. We've dealt with 1 or 2 injuries, which, it happens. But I think we couldn't have had a better prep leading into this regatta.
Compared to previous years, this year's Rand Merchant Bank Buffalo Regatta has seen the biggest amount of entries. The boys from Bishops have had very successful Buffalo Regatta campaigns, and this year they have a very special plan.
This year we have a lot of depth in our squad. So we have 2 8s in the second team, so 3 8s in total and open, which is amazing. It's been really cool for me because I've had to do trials for the second team, which never happens. It's usually just by default you end up in the second team if you're not on the first team. It's been amazing. We're hoping to have a very competitive boat this year, which we're very excited.
The Buffalo Regatta normally shines a light on South Africa's top rowing teams, and this year will be no different. The girls from St Andrews and St Mary's will have a big battle on their hands as they head to the water.
I think obviously the conditions have been quite wet and the girls have adapted quite nicely to it. We really do try our best to not let the weather get the better of us here. The girls have performed across the board so far, but the weekend's still fresh, it's still early, we've still got a lot of racing ahead of us, so we look forward to a good weekend.
Day 1 of the Buffalo Regatta consists mainly of qualifiers for the big event happening on the Saturday over 2 kilometers. Teams coming from around the country to take part in this prestigious event. With so many schools and rowing clubs coming down to meet at the Buffalo, we went out to ask some of the coaches why rowing is such an amazing sport for young scholars to get involved in.
From my perspective, it's not just the racing itself, but also the camaraderie you get amongst the age groups. This is a very unique sport in the fact that you get at all the age groups sort of intermingle, whereas with sports like rugby, hockey, it's very much separated in their own teams. There's not very much intermingling, but here it's all the boys always is helping each other, whether it's opens all the way down to under 14s, which aren't here obviously, but you get so much camaraderie just from helping each other out as a crew. You bond as an age group. It's one of the best parts of the sport, just the whole camaraderie.
I chose rowing because my friend did, and I guess I kind of just got caught into it, and coming out here and winning medals is addictive, I know, obviously the Buffalo isn't as easy as Accra. It's I think it's the most difficult regatta.
One thing that does make the Buffalo stand out from all the other rowing regattas around the country is the fact that it's held on a tidal river. On to the first day of official racing action. It's the Slimsy Sprints, an event held over 500 metres. Weather-wise, no rain predicted for the day, which was boding well for competition. We met up with Bill Godfrey to find out how him and his team handled many challenges in organising this year's Buffalo Regatta.
We've had great support from the rowing community in general. From far and wide, everybody stepped in to make sure this event happens. But most particularly, we need to thank our sponsors, Slimsy, Buffalo City Municipality, RMB, who've come to the party where a month ago we didn't know if we were getting any funding at all. There have been a lot of people working very, very hard, and my wife Kate's been working on this for the last 3 months, and her team, along with her, organising things, and the entire community, the whole of East London has got behind us, and the entire rowing community has got behind us, everybody chipping in. We've got officials from the Western Cape, from Gauteng. Everybody's rallying together to make sure this iconic event that has been going since 1881 can continue and will continue on the Buffalo River. The Transnet issues were a release problem and all that, and then there was a long hard slog, and it was going to be very difficult for us to maintain our position here, but fortunately through a lot of hard work, and my wife Kate in particular, who set her life on hold in order to get this right, and the Alba Committee, they managed to get a 10-year lease, and Transnet are very much on board and very, very supportive of Buffalo Regatta, as they know it is bringing tourism and sport and a lot of interest to East London, which is a town which has very little left, and we are the last big sporting event in East London.
Great pleasure for me to welcome to the studio Kate Godfrey. Kate, start of the Buffalo Regatta Slimsy Sprints, and this is the Octos, a big fight between Saints and King Edward.
Yeah, lovely to see octopools. They're having a bit of a rough time there. It's quite windy. I love a good octopool when it rows well. It's a beautiful boat. When it rows badly, it's like a drunken millipede, and very amusing to watch.
Massive field of entries you've had for this year's event. Did that surprise you? I mean, the biggest field of entries for many years in the Buffalo.
Yep, 1,971 seats, which I'd have to check my records, but is at least the biggest for about a decade.
On to the under-16 junior women's quads, and a big battle between St Andrews and St Mary's. I think something we could have predicted.
Yeah, St Andrews and St Mary's are both very strong. St Andrews has got an excellent head coach, Jamie Crowley, who spent a brief period at my old club in London at Thames.
St Andrews and St Mary's battling it out all the way to the line, but great to see our local girls' school, Clarendon, coming in third.
Yeah, very nice home waters, and they're very good with rough stuff, and it's a very tenacious crew.
Very thankful to our sponsors, Slimsy Hydration, who've come on board to make the Slimsy Sprints possible, and we couldn't have done it without them.
It was great to have a local business on board. So nice to be able to support them.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. It's so nice to see, obviously, it's people travelling from all over the country to come and partake. This is the second one we've done in sort of 2 months. We were very involved in the RPT, which happened the end of last year, and now the Buffalo Regatta.
On the way to our under-23 sculls, and this is going to be close.
Well, it's very close because at varsity you don't have so many of the national squad. So the national squad are people who've mostly left university but still rowing as tucks. And look at this, it's absolutely fantastic. You've got 3 different universities dicing it out for first place. That's what we want to see. Stelly's doing brilliantly, and then he catches a little bit of a crab. He probably would have been right up in there if he hadn't.
But once again, a really solid finish by UCT. They've come a long way.
They have. They've got a very good programme. Their head coach, Evelyn Griffin, has just left and been taken over by a new coach. Great to see them keeping up the standard that she started.
I must be honest, to me, this is the first time I'm seeing Stellenbosch's rowing team in action, and I'm really impressed.
Well, it's so fantastic. They brought a strong team up to Buffalo. They weren't up at Buffalo at all last year, and it's fantastic. It's going to help them go from strength to strength. This is Sam. He was the outgoing president of Walter Sisulu University. This is fantastic to see. This is St Mary's, St Stithian, St Andrews, very close, dicing it out. And you're under 16, they're not quite as strong as the Opens, a little bit more technical than the under 15s, and really coping well with this rough water.
Both St Mary's and St Andrews having 2 crews in this event. It's going to be St Andrews that led most of the way, but a major fight back being pushed here by St Mary's, and I think they might just be able to get it on the line. Keep in mind they're rowing against the tide here, and there's a bit of wind that came up as well. It looks like it's going to be St Mary's that's going to claim this one. St Andrews taking 2nd and 3rd, and St Stithians are grabbing 4th place. Moving on to the next category, it's going to be a race for the junior men's under 16 eights. And all the names are here as we catch the start of this event. Oh, and a bit of a wobbly there for King Edward on the start.
Yes, shame, poor old King Edwards. It's very tricky. If your crew takes a first stroke that pulls your boat skew, you've got no chance of getting it straight. And when you've got 7 boats in a row on the Buffalo River, there's no room to manoeuvre, and it made a massive difference to their result. Really good to see great tight racing. Down to the line, less than half a length in it.
As we look from the air there, it looked like St. Benedict, St. John's and Rondebosch were going to be on the finish line, but a really solid effort by the boys from Bishops, managing to clench that 3rd place. Moving on to the university eights, Kate, and as you mentioned, none of the national team involved in these races.
No, well, you might have a few under-23s in there, but the majority of the senior national squad is not in there. Isn't that fantastic? 3 different universities right up there. We had 8 universities in total at Buffalo and Slimsy Sprints. Really fantastic to see it being so well supported. And this is where our national squad is going to be coming from. Walter Sisulu and Fort Hare dicing it out in there as well, coping well with the rough water. And Stelly's taking the win, which is fantastic to see.
I'm really happy to see girls racing take a huge part of the Slimsy Sprints, and this is going to be a big one. Junior women's first quads as they pull off the line, and I think this is going to be a close contest.
Yeah, really good to see all these girls' schools coming down. You've got St Andrews, St Mary's, St Stilians, the old people battling it out at the front, but just off to the left, what you don't see is Clarendon, who are actually giving them a really good push. And you've got DSG, also another local school, giving them a really good push as well, coping admirably with the rough water, having to get on top of it, get that blade in without being knocked around, and apply the drive of the legs to make it as powerful as possible and then not mess up the run on the recovery. Here we see St Mary's just got a little bit out in front of St Andrews, and they're going to take it by half a length. Great to see DSG. They've been out of it for a while, and so good to have them back at their first Buffalo since they're back, and they're doing really well. Some very good coaching going on there.
On to our final event of the day in the Slimsy Selborne Sprints. It's going to be the men's first 8s, and I think this race is going to provide us with fireworks.
Yeah, this is so noisy. It's a 500-meter sprint. You've got everybody on the bank screaming their heads off. You've got the cheerleaders from each of the schools. You've got all the universities supporting the schools as well, and the adult clubs, and it's tight racing. Now, 500-meter sprints mean that you can get away with not such a good technique maybe as a 2,000-meter, and you've got a slightly different combination coming in. There's Benny's closest to us. You've got Rondebosch doing really well, and you land up with a very different result often from what you get in a 2K. Very exciting racing. And here we come. Look at them all. 4 in a row. Oh, and Benny's have just got it from St John's. I bet St John's are acid about that.
Onward we go to the Rand Merchant Bank Buffalo Regatta, a race that features some of the most valuable rowing trophies.
Yeah, they are the most valuable sporting trophies in Africa, and these are new trophies from RMB. The paw print is from a Pride of 4, and it's for the Cox's 4 fastest women in the country. So the trophies are absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, I think for us, our training is more geared to what we're doing today, which is quite a big win in terms of, I think we're suited to today's racing a little bit better than we are yesterday. But, you know, you take yesterday as it comes and you just try and enjoy the sprinting, and then today's sort of the main event.
One of our local universities competing is the University of Fort Hare. They've come a long way, and the club has really grown strong over the last few years.
It's a great opportunity to be part of University of Fort Hare rowing. It's been great years. We're developing, and we have a bunch of girls and men now. So we're growing. Rowing requires a lot of teamwork, and I love teamwork so much. And it's a great opportunity to come along different type of people.
It's a wonderful feeling being here. It's packed, and of course I'm one of the die-hard supporters of our team, UFH Rowing Club, and I'll support them all the way, and I'm very excited. The team is now here to stay, and my being here is to just kind of put that stamp of endorsement. These kids from these kinds of backgrounds have broken into an elite sport. And that's what we want to do. We want to make that sport an ordinary sport that can be enjoyed by children from the township, from the villages, from everywhere.
On to our first event in the Buffalo Regatta. It's the senior men's eights, and we go on board with the University of Fort Hare.
Great to have them. Their university has really got behind the sport, and the Vice-Chancellor tells me that the buzz on the campus is all about rowing. Really nice to have them. It's great to have so many universities. We had 8 universities, and great to have so many of them here competing it out, toughing it to get the winner over the line.
Kate, the way you tackle an endurance event over 2K is a lot different to a short sprint event?
Very differently. You find that the people with better technique tend to do better over the 2K than the short. As I mentioned with the sprints, that you can get away with using more brute force over a sprint. It doesn't work when you're doing that over a longer one. But great to see Tux coming in first and second, and then Stellies coming in third.
Tux once again showing why they are the dominant force in university rowing in the country. But getting onto the water, we still had our masters, and it looks like some of the old hands still keeping up.
Yep, it's you can carry on rowing until well into your 80s. We recently had the World Masters Regatta. This is Old Eds from Gauteng, and this is a combination boat, VLC and Ravens. So in Masters you can have combinations, and you can have girls and boys, men and women rowing together.
Our senior ladies Cox's 4 is an event that matches the Grand Challenge. Great to see so many university ladies teams coming out to support.
We were trying to make sure the environment was as attractive as possible to get as many ladies down as possible, and also in exceptional circumstances we allowed composite crews. So because we are trying to attract ladies, you'll see there a composite crew doing very well, UCT, Wits and UJ, and very nice rowing. Great to see that composite going so nicely together.
This would be one of our main attraction events for the day. The Silver Skulls raced over 2 kilometres, and all the big names are here.
Very nice to see. So you've got Chris Baxter there. He and his partner were at the Olympics in the pair. And then also in there, you've got 2 gents who are in the coastal national squad. You've got George Deploy and Murray Bale-Smith. Be very interesting to see where they come. So Chris and his partner dicing it out in the front with Murray Bale-Smith. Murray Bale-Smith got a silver in Egypt recently, and George Deploy got a bronze in the solo, Murray in the quad. Let's see how they do against the traditional rowers as they're coming down to the sprints. You can see them all quite tightly bunched. There's a lot of competition at this level. They all want to be representing their country. Tux is very strong, but they've got some real severe competition coming in from other universities. There's Murray in the middle there, Troy, he's from Stellies, and they're dicing it out. Now a lot of people will think that the beginning will have the same result as the end. You have a lot of changes here. Now you can see there that Chris Baxter and Murray Bale-Smith dicing it out. It doesn't look like they're close, but I promise they are. And a quick look across to see where the other's doing, and he's pushing it to try and catch up, and they miss it by less than a length. So that's traditional rowing gets the win. Murray Bale-Smith goes for a swim. He is the coastal rower. Traditional rowing gets third, and coastal rowing gets fourth.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome. It's been a dream to lift the trophy for a while now. Had a few shots at it. Unfortunately missed out, but yeah, it's really, really good to be on the trophy and have my name along with the greats.
Day 3 of the Buffalo Regatta, the rain staying at bay, allowing some good racing on the Buffalo, and our junior ladies under 19 quads on the water.
Yep, fighting hard, very tenacious crew. St Andrews and St Mary's very strong. A lot of work to be done to be able to catch them up. You can see St Andrews and St Mary's out front. There's DSG. Great to have them back at Buffalo. But these ladies are so strong in the first quads, and they've got their work cut out for them. Their work is tougher than for an 8 because you've only got 4 of them, and they're carrying a 55 kilo Cox. So they're pulling per person much more than you would find in an 8. So it's just as difficult. It's a thug's boat.
3 boats in it for this one: St Mary's, St Andrews and St Stithians. St Mary's pushing as hard as they can, but they're not going to be able to close the gap down to St Andrews and St Stithians as they head towards the line. Look at this. Keeping in mind, this is over 2 kilometres. St Andrews taking the win there with a 0.79 of a second over St Stithians. St Mary's grabbing third. DSG managing to come through and take 5th place.
Great to see St Stithians and St Andrews dicing it out very close. Excellent programme being run by their Director of Rowing, Kate Christovitz, and that shows in those results.
And this is our big one for the day. The Grand Challenge raced over 2 kilometres. The senior men's coxless fours.
It's great to see. So it started off as a coxed race, then but with all the coxed races, what happens, they change to coxless. Here you see the senior tux team of the university. There's Marty's doing extremely well. Very impressed with the programme that they have been running. They're going from strength to strength. And UCT, who has been very, very strong and is now finding it difficult to keep Stellenbosch away from them. But coming close now, you'll see that you've got Tux coming in first and second, and then you've got Stellies still giving them a push just behind the second place there. And there's Tux with a real performance. Included in it is John Smith. He's seen a few of these buffaloes, and he was in the crew that won the gold medal in 2012 as well.
And what a fantastic finish by Marty's.
Yep, they're doing so well. UCTs are now going to have to really put some work in to be able to get up to them.
On to our second last event of the day, Senior Women's Sculls. And I love the way you've mixed up the races this year.
Yep, we tried something different. There's one of many different things that we've done to try and highlight women's rowing, increase the excitement, make life easier. Most of them worked. There were a few that didn't work, but it's been great to see so many ladies down here. Here's Tux coming down long and strong. We've got 3 ladies coming up, fighting it out. Now you might see Tux, but this is all part of selection. They've got to get in front of each other. This will really determine who is part of the Olympic programme and who isn't. You've got rowers who've come in from Wits and from Stellenbosch who are also part of the selection. And obviously you've got rowers coming from UCT who are also pushing. Also, the coastal selectors are looking at these ladies and having a look and saying who's got potential for coastal squad. Slightly different requirements needed for coastal rowing, but really nice to see such a strong group of women coming down the course, and the Buffalo's looking brilliant.
Fantastic win by Badenhorst, and I think she's going to be very proud of the fact that she's going to be the first female rower to get her name on that new trophy donated by RMB. On to our final event of the day. This is the Junior Men 8s. I think all the schools are at the edge of their seats trying to see who's going to win this one. If I had to put my money on anyone, it'll probably be St Benedict's.
Well, their bennies are very strong and they are difficult to knock off their perch, but this is such close racing. There's Bosch in their very noticeable yellow caps and yellow blades, rowing absolutely brilliantly. And there's Benny's. They're fighting it out and not in the lead, which is very interesting. And there's St John's on the far side, who are really pushing hard. You still got Benny's there with their blue blades pushing as hard as they can. Very tight racing from this front 3. Got a little bit of a lead now being pulled out. Very tough racing by St Stithians. They've got, as I've mentioned before, they've got a really good programme at St Stithians at the moment. What you don't get from this is just how loud it is, but now you can see St Stithians and Benny's have pulled out quite a lead from the other boats. A brief glimpse at Jeppy in the background in their distinct black and white, and it's anybody's game. It's stroke to stroke. There's only a canvas in it, and who's going to get it over St Stithians and Benny's? It looks like St Stithians have just managed to get a third of their 8 ahead of St Benedict's, which is going to be gutting from Benny's because Benny's traditionally have been winning this event.
A fantastic performance by the young lads there. You know, to have a 1 point something odd difference between the boats over 2 kilometres just shows you what quality of rowing we have coming up. As we move into the final event of the day, it will be the prize giving, and we chatted to Rand Merchant Bank to find out their thoughts about the oldest sporting event in the country.
RMB Buffalo Regatta is a very special partnership and a regatta for RMB. We're just absolutely blown away by the community, the rowing community, the grit and determination shown on the water, and we're very proud to be associated to the spirit and camaraderie that these athletes, all the way from schools to universities to clubs, demonstrate on and off the river.
Yeah, it's very awesome. We've chatted about this a while now, and I think it's really cool to finally get it done. It's taken me a few chances.
We always try to bring a team that can compete and hold the standard really high. I've done so many and I lost a few, and it's always special when you get it right.
And that concludes our coverage of the Rand Merchant Bank Buffalo Regatta 2025. We hope to see you back at the Buff in 2026. Till then, stay safe on the water.